Before we begin the review, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a big shout out from our friends over at the Video Game Corner, whose big library of video games actually was the reason this review was able to happen in the first place. So here's a message from them.
Looking for that perfect game for your gaming console? Video Game Corner is the largest independently owned video gaming store in North Mississippi, located at 1519 Highway 72 in Corinth. We are an authorized limited-run retail store and have a massive collection of retro games and game systems, and also plush toys and collectibles. We also pay top dollar for your used video games. Check them out Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Visit Video Game Corner in Corinth.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, as always, I'm your host, AirsoftAL, and let's just go ahead and say it now, Cyberpunk is awesome. Be it from the cool visuals, the synthwave music, or even just everything else in between. Cyberpunk is probably one of the coolest, just subgenres, not even subgenre anymore, genre to date when it comes to science fiction, dystopia, post-apocalyptic, or anything of that nature. Cyberpunk, in terms of media, is something that we can all agree on. And not just because of Cyberpunk 2077 making it very fucking awesome again. Not just because of course, the Blade Runner anime that Adult Swim had that kind of connects to the movie, apparently. In a variety of ways. No, it's not just that, ladies and gentlemen. No. It's the setting. It's everything else in between. Cyberpunk is awesome. Now, what would happen if you took Deus Ex Machina, or at least Deus Ex, which in of itself is an amazing Cyberpunk series, be it the older games, newer games, or otherwise, and you connect it, and you cross over it with Harry Goddamn Potter.
I have several questions.
I see a few of you having a bit of confusion. Don't worry, I'll help you out with this. But today's fanfiction review is none other than, of course, Harry Potter and the Mundane Magic. A 5-chapter, really well-detailed and really good fanfiction story that, in my opinion, needs to be picked up and needs to be continued. And I mean this. It doesn't have to be Harry Potter, it can also be anything else. But before we get into what this story can offer the fanfiction community and my fellow authors and friends from the Discord server I'm in, what is the story about? Well, it's what happens when the actual head of the corporation, which of course Adam Jensen works at in the Deus Ex series, accidentally hits Harry Potter with his car. And a series of events go from there. This all happens because Harry Potter got hit by a car. And from then, a series of events unfolds. From that point on, Harry Potter is no longer, of course, the Dursleys, whatever, basically his relatives, guardian or ward. He is now the ward of Seraph Industries, and a full augment, essentially. His entire body, or at least a good portion of his body, is now augmented. And when it's found out by the Ministry of Magic exactly what the hell happened and where Harry actually is, which is in the good old-fashioned US of goddamn A, and they come a-looking and they come to try and take him away, well, guess what, dumbass? Cybernetically enhanced human beings, their brains aren't exactly like organic brains. In reality, all memory and data, which, again, are memories being digitized and the data being uploaded into the cloud of a satellite in orbit, which allows it to be spread out throughout the entire goddamn world, at a press of a button or even a single command, the magical world would be exposed to every single augment, which makes up about 85% of the human population. So that's about 20% non-augments who would know about that. And the magical population makes up about, if we want to be generous about this, 5% of the population. Which means that they'd be outnumbered against 90% of the population with only 5% theirs. Now, we could be generous with that and say that they make up about 10% of the population. Again, I leave it up to my mathematical friends, who are much better at this than I am. So, moving on. Okay, but I'm just gonna go ahead and play this now. So, as we all know, America is the strongest country in the fictional world. I know everyone's going to try and say we are strong even now in the real life, but I'm not even going to get into that. I'm talking about the fictional world. And a cybernetic America of the Deus Ex universe, of a Cyberpunk universe, is stronger considering that we would wholeheartedly embrace, well, we'd also be going head-to-head with fucking Japan, because of course it's goddamn Japan. We would also be going head-to-head against other nations, but we'd be the most powerful in terms of military, weaponry, and everything else in goddamn between. So, what happens exactly when you take that concept, that image of a strong America in a cyberpunk world, and you turn us into goddamn pussies?
What the fuck?
Dear Lord, that's the loudest profanity I've ever heard.
Okay. There are a few things I can take in this life and accept when America's weak, or at least gets weakened. The invasion from Modern Warfare 2, even though that's total bullshit because we have the goddamn fleets between us and Russia. Red Dawn from the 1980s, because then again, that one actually makes sense. They laid out the goddamn strategy of how they were able to weaken our defenses. I can accept that. Fucking Homefront! Homefront! The one where North Korea, which is bullshit by the way, fucking North Korea was able to launch an EMP strike against us. Land forces in Hawaii and in America, and even then, at least then, they were able to goddamn make sense of it, even though the sense was as logical as a goddamn 5th grader's understanding of fucking military strategy.
Only good communist is a dead communist!
But this... Okay. Okay, so, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. So, the way they do this, the way they threaten both mundane and magical America, which BT dubs, magical America apparently works in tangent with the American government, meaning that they have magical forces that have technology, cybernetics, augment goddamn-tations in the fucking regular magical forces. They also have magical forces in the American military, god damn it! You're fucking telling me that magical Britain, who has no standing military, no standing forces that can actually stop American forces from steamrolling their asses, who are still living in the Middle goddamn Ages? You're fucking telling me me that America is fucking weak against this nation that's only the size of goddamn Kentucky?
Oh, now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. You have fucked up now.
Is that what you're fucking telling me?
And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again.
Bullshit!
Bullshit!
Bullshit. Bullshit.
I couldn't make this shit up. I couldn't make this shit up if I tried. I'm sad that I lack the talent to make this shit up.
Okay. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Okay, so. Let's fucking get back to the story. So, with Harry Potter, now in magical Britain, you think that the story would try and follow a plot line, right? Wrong, jackasses! This thing pulls a gotcha and literally makes it to where Harry Potter puts it out in the goddamn forefront that he is here against his will. He does not support the magical community, the magical British community. He's an American foremost, an American second, and supports freedom and democracy and the American way.
Freedom is the sovereign right of every American.
So yeah, that's exactly what basically is going on, goddammit. And the best fucking part about this, ladies and gentlemen, is that he's pissed. And believe me, I'd be too. So he figures out a way how to get back at the limey bastards, and he does so in the best fucking way possible. Because he's a full augment, technically speaking, his magical powers is actually enhanced. He has abilities and augmentations that make him a very lethal son of a bitch in close, medium, and long-range combat. Not only that, but in the story itself, Sirius Black does not accept this quote-unquote abomination as his godson. So in a sense, he uses him as a goddamn assassin against dark families. That is goddamn wicked and smart, and I fucking love that. For a variety of reasons that I'm not going to get into right now. What I will say though, ladies and goddamn gentlemen, is that he fucks with these people so good that I love it. One of the things he does, he literally uses an old game from the 1990s claiming, during Transfiguration class, mind you, that he was raiding a dungeon, basically playing Diablo. I'm not going to say which Diablo, I'd rather you read this and find out yourself. But he basically claims that he was leading his team against a dark wizard, a actual dark sorcerer who is much more deadly than fucking Voldemort, which, by the way, anything from goddamn Diablo or any of the goddamn Elder Scrolls game is much more deadly and much more volatile and much more goddamn evil than fucking Voldemort, i.e. runs away from death or flies away from death or whatever that dumbass's name is. But when that is dropped, America is fully on board for this shit. They are ready to pay back the Brits in blood. Literally conjuring up a story and literally playing up Harry Potter's exploits, because the rest of the goddamn magical world outside Japan, and maybe a few other of America's allies who actually decide to combine their magical and mundane societies together because of cybernetics, is eating this shit up. They are basically, because you know how they could have done this, the author, you know how he could have done this, is that the reason why Harry Potter didn't want to come to Hogwarts is because he's been trying to track down the bastard who is the main bad guy in the Diablo's game for fucking ever. Since he was able to, since he found out about him, essentially, and lost a team because of him. They could have actually produced fake bodies and actually basically had a funeral pyre, essentially. They could fuck with the magical Brits and the magical Europeans, because they actually do. They get some homeless schmuck wizard off the streets, dress him up as the big bad, and basically mess with his brain a little bit, and he's off doing shit. Again, the way they get back at the bastards is goddamn clever, and I love it. Shit. But the best fucking part is that the way he achieves an alchemy, essentially, the way he becomes a chief alchemist, or at least a much more higher level wizard than he already fucking is and already made himself out to be in the European wizarding world, is he literally creates life. He creates a cybernetic dog. That's right, he creates a cybernetic fucking dog, and I love it! Moving on, though. So, the sad thing about this is that this story, while yes, pisses me the fuck off they made America weak, both magical and cybernetic and regular, mundane, and goddamn America, is that it's a clever, fun story. It is honest to God a fun story that I had fun reading and was pissed that this story is abandoned, essentially. 5 chapters and so much detail. A fucking harem, yes, and yes, I know everyone's tired of the fucking harem excuses, but here's the thing. It literally fucking works in this situation. It literally does, because the way the girls are presented and actually kind of done up, I do kind of like. I love how they're basically taking the piss out of magical Europe instead of the rest of the goddamn world, basically saying that you guys are not as advanced as you think you are. And the fact they're using a video game series, a very good and very acclaimed video game series, mind you, to basically make Harry Potter bigger than he already is and basically say, hey, you took away our only thing that was helping us track this bastard down and defeat him? Y'all motherfuckers fucked up. Because now he's running around magical Europe trying to complete his big bad evil plan. Again, so many things. So many things of this story that is actually really good. I mean, shit. My friend and author Wombag, if he was to do a Harry Potter story ever, I could see him doing this. A cyberpunk style Harry Potter story that kind of follows the same vein of this. A powerful America, Harry Potter reluctantly going to Britain and even basically fucking with the British society and saying, yeah, no, you pulled me away from something pretty goddamn important, so you reap what you sow, motherfuckers. Or even my friend Crimson Weresloth. I could see him doing this kind of story with the Cyberpunk universe. I mean, shit, we never had a Cyberpunk 2077 where Harry Potter is a child and raised in Night City as maybe a street kid or a corpo or even a Badlands kid. We never see those things. I love Cyberpunk because it is a very stark contrast between our society and other societies. I mean, fucking imagine that. A proper Harry Potter fanfiction set in Cyberpunk 2077. Or a proper Harry Potter fanfiction set in Deus Ex. There are so many ways that can go down. There are so many ways that could be entertaining as hell. And I'd love to see it. But don't make America weak unless it's justifiable. Either way, though, ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to check this one out yourself. And if you're an author who watches my videos and you think you can tackle this one, please do. The author of this original story has abandoned it. And it is a shame and a fucking tragedy in of itself. Because I had fun reading it. And I want you guys to as well. Save this story. Publish it on other websites if you have to. But do not let this story be deleted or abandoned. This is a story that needs to be archived and saved for future fanfiction readers and future generations and lovers of Cyberpunk. Because again, this is a fun story, it is a great story, and I want you guys to basically go read it. Like I said, it's 5 chapters long, but dear God, the detail he puts into each one of them. Either way though, thank you all so very much for watching. As always, I've been AirsoftAL. If you want to help support the channel and the content we do, I have an Amazon account. So if you want to help donate to me directly, well, contact me via the Discord down below. Or if you want to help support the channel as a whole and other content creators, consider donating to the PayPal down below as well. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been AirsoftAL, and I will see all you lovely, lovely people in the next video. Till next time, later.